Yeah, it's been well over a year since I've done a video, and what can I say? I got lazy and procrastinated like a lot. One of my many personality flaws. So what? I have a shitty hair day too. I'm still gonna do this video anyway. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and one of the topics I wanted to talk about was retirement. I've actually been inspired by a few people close to me, as well as some people that I admire that are confronting this various issue, not only in athletics, but in other realms as well. And I think that retirement is a subject that's definitely worth looking into. And what really inspired me to start thinking about this in the first place was this weird, morbid obsession I had with following the death penalty a few months ago. I really got wrapped up in it. Every YouTube video that was popping up started just captivating me, and as I watched more and more, the algorithm kept expanding. And I'm not going to go into the politics or the actual morbidity of it, but suffice it to say that I got a lot out of my weird, creepy obsession with it. And one thing I got out of it was the amazing case of human psychology that was presented through all of this. And what I learned was by watching all of these people, there's a commonality, and all of them fought tooth and nail through appellate courts and various legal methods and even some out of the box thinking to try to prolong their life. And what their life was 23 hours a day in an isolated cell and an hour a day in a outside basically pen, and outside is a loose term, essentially just a concrete pen with a mesh roof that they could see some sky and get some fresh air. And that was their life. No other human contact whatsoever. Very limited mail and phone calls, and obviously terrible food, and really just a bleak existence. And most of these people fought tooth and nail to maintain this, and even tried unorthodox methods so far as one person actually decided to declare themselves as trans, presumably to try to have the state not execute an openly trans person. But suffice it to say that that one was the first openly trans person to be executed, and now their picture is of them portrayed as a woman through their execution photos, and that's what made them ultimately famous. But being off topic, the point is that all of these people did anything in their power and anything that they could think of to try to prolong their life. However, obviously at some point they were executed. And the common theme with everybody that was executed is that when the time came, they walked from the holding cell to the execution chamber under their own free will and laid down willingly without any sort of fight or resistance. And I thought that that was very interesting, because when everything was said and done and all the appeals were gone and there was no other hope, all of these people, every single one of them without exception, found some way to accept their fate, and did so with dignity and grace. And the parallel that I drew between this and retirement is that retirement oftentimes is actually quite similar. Say you're in a job, you work in a corporate situation, you've done so for decades, and even though you may not even realize it because you sort of pushed it so far back that you don't see it, that you don't like the structure, you don't like the politics, you don't like the commitment, you don't like the time, you don't like what it takes away from you. But at the same time, you fight tooth and nail to continue to climb and to continue to maintain your position until one day, through no fault of your own, outside of your control, it's over. Say, for example, you're a professional athlete. Now, I have my own opinions on being an athlete and what that entails, and I don't think that your physical or mental capabilities deteriorate as fast as the general public would like you to believe. And certainly not as fast as mainstream professional sports wants you to believe. I think that, believe it or not, you can actually maintain yourself well past what people think you can in terms of, being essentially unathletic by your mid-30s. I've seen plenty of examples of people even winning world championships into their 40s. And not just one, but plenty, albeit that is the exception. And my thought process behind that is not that retirement from athletics is a physical or mental deterioration per se. It is more so a lack of desire to continue to put in the same effort and not get a heightened return. If anything, the perceived return is less, even though you have to put in more effort. And I think that holds true with professional jobs as well. Point being is that even if you are in a situation in professional athletics where you are sort of burnt out and the emotional or physical or financial return isn't the same to you as it once was, you'll still fight tooth and nail to keep it. But ultimately, at some point, through some sort of action, it could be any number of things, but it's outside of your control and it's over. It's over. People accept it with grace. However, the parallel ends there because obviously with the death penalty and state level executions, when they're executed, it's over. And I have absolutely nothing that I could even begin to inform anybody on as to what that means afterwards, what comes after that. If I did, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos in a den in an apartment. I would be in a mansion, living life. Probably the wealthiest person on the planet to be able to tell people exactly what happens after death. But getting off topic is in retirement from athletics or from the professional world or the corporate world, what comes next? And that's the big problem. I've seen people express large fear of what comes next. I've seen people hold on too long in athletics in fear of not knowing what comes next and causing themselves harm. I've seen people retire and deteriorate relatively rapidly because they never anticipated what's next. And I think that it's a problem that at its core is simple yet profound because people are ignoring a fundamental need post-retirement. Because people think that the athletic world and the corporate world are something as an individual achievement. People think that even in an individual world like mixed martial arts or combat sports, people think that it's an individual achievement. People think that their entire identity is defined by their achievement, and so they continue to chase it even when they don't want it. In the professional world, you become so engrossed in that world, that becomes your identity, even if you hate it, yet you'll continue to pursue it. And the answer is, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I think the answer is actually simple, and I think it's a need that most people ignore. Because you realistically don't like the day-to-day grind. And if you do, then keep doing it, right? But most people don't. In terms of athletics, people don't like the day-to-day grind of training really hard, especially when the return is not very much. People don't like fighting. World champions have said they don't like fighting. I've known plenty of talented fighters who do not like fighting. I've known plenty of people in the corporate world who do not like to travel, who do not like to do meetings, who do not like to speak in front of people, who don't like to commit large amounts of their time to feeding what is essentially an entity, but they still do it. Why? Well, as a man, I think that there is one need that all of those tend to address that nobody thinks about. And I think that if you approach post-retirement life with this need consciously in mind, then not only will you thrive post-retirement, but you'll also find a new path for yourself. And I think that path, I think that need is the connection to other men in achieving something bigger than yourself, in overcoming a challenge, in overcoming adversity. Because nothing great in life is ever achieved alone. In professional sports, you have coaches, you have trainers, you have media, you have fans, you have all of these people that combine to fill different needs. And at the same time, you also have tremendous bonds with teammates even in individual sports where all of you are working towards something great. In the corporate world, yeah, you may all slightly hate each other and talk shit behind each other's backs, but you are all working towards the same goal of climbing the corporate ladder, of getting the next position, of getting the next promotion, of gaining more status within that group. You all do the same thing. You travel, you go through adversity, you walk through airports, you eat dinner at 10 o'clock, you wake up at 4 a.m. to go to meetings that you hate because you all want to work hard and sacrifice to achieve something great. However, in retirement, all of that is taken away. In professional sports, your teammates are gone because most of them are still continuing on. In the corporate world, same thing. But you are gone from all of that. And I think that that lack of connection is what ultimately drives people to negative behaviors, to addiction, to decadence, to deviance. I think that that's what leads to people deteriorating, especially in corporate retirement, especially in older age. But I think that if you can find a way to emphasize your need to connect with other men and find a new path in which to connect with them, then I think that everything will be much better. I think you'll find a new path for yourself and thrive. Now, that's not to say that romantic connections or familial connections aren't important. They absolutely are. They're great, but they're not everything. They are a connection, or they are a couple of connections, but they are not everything that you need. You need more people. You need more connections in your life. You need other men with whom to work to achieve something great. Now, in which realm shall you pursue? I can't tell you that. It's way too open-ended. But if you listen to yourself, if you listen to your heart, something inside of you is screaming for you to do something. And more than likely, if you can rearrange your mindset to think of how you can serve others and how your developed skill set from your experience can guide others or help others, that should be a good start. Because if you start to think about how you can serve others and be of use to others, you'll start to feel a warmth in your heart and your soul that will guide you, that will embolden you, that will passion you to cultivate something. Even if you're not good at it right away, you'll still continue to do it for the pure love and the excitement that it brings and the passion that it brings. And that ultimately is how to thrive post-retirement. And that can be achieved at any age. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional. It can be spiritual. It can be as a mentor. It can be as a guide. It can be any number of things. But it's ultimately up to you how you want to connect with other men to achieve great things or to help them achieve the things that you have. I hope that helps. I hope that leads you to thinking of something bigger than yourself, of something that can continue to inspire you and give you passion as you pursue the next chapter in your lives, because it certainly has with me and mine. So, yeah, I don't know how to wrap this up. I don't really know what to say, but happy to be back, and I'm happy to continue to make videos and to hopefully give at least a couple of you something to think about. If there's anything else that interests you, please let me know what you'd like to hear or have me talk about. I want to be more active with this, so if there's more nutrition advice or if there's more wisdom or anything related to any of the stuff I'm into, most of you all know me, so by all means, let me know what I can do to help, and let's kick life's ass together. Talk to you soon.